Hello, my fellow readers. Dark Symphony 777 with another fanfiction review, or trilogy of fanfiction reviews. As always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell for notifications, leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts on the story. And finally, this is my opinion. My opinion is not indicative of everyone in the world, so please respect that. So, we got 3 stories today, and oh boy, I'm gonna need something to drink after this. Yeah. I'm going to need some hard alcohol for this, even if I don't drink. I just want to look at it. I wonder what does my life come to, and then I wonder why I could not be better. Why am I acting this out? I don't know. So, stories I'm doing today are goth, and by technicality, goth training, quote unquote. Bucky and Wanda, Scarlet Winter, and Komeji Labyrinth. So I'm going to start with this story, and oh boy. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, I hate reviewing bad stories, and I don't want to give fan fictions people fuel to say bad fan fiction are bad. Come on, you gotta acknowledge that. Yes, I know. And it's that shit like this don't help. Shit like that. No, wait. Shit like this don't help either. What do I even have to say about this story? Oh, okay. Okay. What is the plot? I have no fucking clue. Like, that's like a big problem with the story. Is the plot it's just what is the fucking plot? So let's dial it back. Let's dial it back. The plot, I guess, the plot at the beginning of the story is Bonnie Rockweiler. Give me. Bonnie Rockweiler, the alpha bitch of Middleton High. For whatever reason, during winter break, decide I'm going to be a goth because it's never properly explained what happened. It's like okay, her mom kind of treats her like a kid, and her sisters kind of bully her, but it's so basic. I the fact that the plot never really tells you what the tipping point is. So, oh, I just don't want to be part of that anymore. Okay, so this is you're not gonna tell us anything? No. Okay, so why are you randomly goth? First off, doesn't properly explain why she turned goth outside of stuff happened at home, but I don't want to be like my sisters anymore. And then that gets completely abandoned part way through the story because, I shit you not, the story abandons all pretenses and just goes to, and the story quite literally becomes Bonnie Rockweiler, Kim Possible, and countless other people just jump on Ron Stoppable's deck. Why? Why? If the whole point of the plot is two girls get insatiably horny for Ron Stoppable, then why go through this pretense, weird pretense of Bonnie Rockweiler becoming a goth? Why go through this weird pretense of Bonnie? Better yet, anything to do with Bonnie, really? It's like she gets convinced she wants to leave the cheer squad because it's like okay, that's like a remnant of what she wants to be. Kim Possible convinces her to stay. Okay, she stays. They start a massive clothing business at the end simply because Bonnie wanted something to do. Like you're wondering why am I not talking about in depth about the plot? Because I don't know what the plot is. Like that's like you. I can't even do any sort of discussion on the plot because I don't know what it is. Is it Bonnie trying to be a better person? Is it a porn story where everyone's just including Kim Possible's mom getting horny over the stoppable dick? Yeah, there's even a chapter where it's like, oh, I want to study your health when you like with this mystical mumbo jumbo, and she like looks at Ron Stoppable's thing, realizes, oh, it's bigger than my husband. It's like must touch, and then she looks at her arm. She sees the doctor club's like, no, I must resist, but it's so big. No, I must resist, and she resists. She does indeed. It was like, why go like if this was like an erotic story, fine. I can deal with that. But they don't even show the sex. Give it credit where credit is due. This story, which is basically a better version of this story that was made several years ago. This one at least has like the whole thing where it's just a cheesy, over the top porn thing. At least that has something going for it. Oh, and it actually shows the sex, however short it may be. But this doesn't show the sex. At worst, it just shows a bunch of nudity, or as much as you can picture nudity in your mind, of about 10, maybe 11 girls, including an adult. Because guess what? That's kind of skeevy. Is they have to pull like random laws just to justify a like 20 or 30 something year old woman jumping on a 17-year-old guy's dick. Okay. And also like how like most of the chicks are like in a relationship or and cheating on them by sleeping with Ron. I don't I don't like is it supposed to be like a whole statement about polyamory? Because I was like because Ron and Kim get married at the end at 17, and Kim's father is like really doesn't take well to the idea because he doesn't like he completely at least gets over the whole idea of like dating Ron, like Kim dating Ron. It's like okay, he's technically a member of the family already. I can move past that. I can't move past Ron sleeping with a bunch of women. It's like, well, it's polyamory. It's like if your idea of portraying polyamory is a trio of people who are so horny they quite literally can't function without engaging in like multiple hours of sex. Yeah, that's kind of bad portrayal of an open relationship. That's just like that seems very skeevy and not exactly a good portrayal of the idea because they're literally only doing it because the sex is. They're only doing it because the sex is good. It, I don't. I don't know what the whole. I don't know what the whole point of this story. Like, what is the point of the story? Like, I don't. I don't know. I just. I don't know. And then sorry, it's like I didn't even finish the story. I remember reading it long ago. When I read through the first second, I couldn't even finish it because like it's literally just more of the same of this. Just at Yamanuchi, and I think if I remember right, adding Yori on top of the whole thing. Now Kim has a spicy redhead, a spicy Latina, a tight ass Asian chick to sleep with for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. It's just, I don't even like. And there's a whole thing with Bonnie wanting to become part of the team, like part of Kim Possible, and then her randomly having kung fu, and it's a mess plot wise. It's a mess It's a mess everything wise. Honestly, I don't even want to talk about this story anymore because how idiotic the excuse me, how idiotic everything is about this story. Like, what about the characters? The only character that really has any work on it is Bonnie, and like that's kind of fun. That's kind of like screwed up because it doesn't really like everything kind of hinges on. Oh, I got bullied. I'm tired of being bullied. And they never really delve into that because the author immediately switches tacks like must jump unstoppable on the stoppable unstoppable mushroom. Like yeah. I must have it. Let me drop my pants. It's like really yes. 2 hour sex session. You think I'm gonna pass that up? You think I'm gonna pass that up? But we're like stoppable, yes. Drop the pants. Bending over, yes. Drop. I don't. I don't know. I don't like. I can't even say Kim and Ron are fine because the other just kind of devolves them into like nymphos. Like half the decision is like, oh, helping Bonnie. The other half is just like, when can we have sex? When can we have our 3 hour sex session? Yeah. Like, it's repetitive. It's one dimensional. The writing itself is like very very Tumblr esque. I don't know if Tumblr was a thing around this time. So yeah, it's very poor writing because it relies a lot on telling rather than showing. There's a reason why show don't tell exists because when you get too much telling, you get shit like this that you just don't care about. And it's just like, grammar error. I can't even say the grammar error is fine because the sentence structure is just completely boring. It's just shit. It's tum it's Tumblr esque writing if I ever seen it. Like you could, it's and I still can't get over the fact the story just evolves into everyone wanting sex with Ron. I just can't. I can't even. Pacing wise, it's too fast because it's like, okay, you want to at least develop how Bonnie growing out of being a goth, like becoming a better person. That would take time, and you can't. It doesn't give the time because again, I'm not even. I'm gonna finish it. I'm not gonna finish the sentence. They want the stoppable. Drop the pants. Sorry, I had to get it on my head. I gotta get it out of my head for one more time. I can't. The story's just horrendous. The story doesn't help either. No, I'm gonna move on. It's not like it can get any worse. Son of a bitch, it got worse. So, what is Bucky and Wanda Scarlet Winter by MAB86? Now I am 100% sure this was written by a Tumblr writer. So, oh, so what is this story about? At least, at least I will give this story credit. It has a plot. It's a very short and simple plot, but at least it has a plot unlike this. So the plot stars this girl named what is that? Crap, I gotta find her full name. Anna Molly. She joins this mysterious cult called the Cult of Curios, because it turns out her brother and her brother's girlfriend both got killed by the cult. Basically, the brother got brainwashed, tried to sacrifice the girlfriend, but he broke out of it at the last second, and the cult leader basically just killed them both, and she saw the whole thing. So she joins this cult to take this thing called a Soul Reaper medallion from the head of the cult. She managed to take it off by convincing him, like, I will collect souls for the god Curious. She gets it, she leaves, and she runs off. They immediately cotton on to what she's doing. They chase after her. She manages to contact Bucky Barnes, i.e., the Winter Soldier. Meanwhile, the Doctor Strange and everyone senses a bunch of magic coming from that location. So Doctor Strange sends Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, saying, "Hey, I need you to check this out. Just check it out and see let's see what's going on, try to solve it. For me, it's chaos magic. You're more experienced in chaos magic than anyone here. They're going up, so please do that." They meet Anna, who is being chased by the magic cult. And Bucky and Wanda eventually have to team up and and not only help himself, because Bucky has like a whole thing where he's still trying to find redemption over like having to work for like the Soviets and murder a bunch of innocent people. And Wanda's kind of helping him, but also kind of deal with the cult and kind of deal with that. I think it's headed by like some guy named Caro Mordo. I don't know who that is. Okay, so it's it's a neat little plot. I will say it is a plot, but that's not the reason why I am doing this. Why I hate this story. It's because of the characters. Ignore that. First off, Bucky and Wanda are just pretty much one dimensional. The author does try to do something with them. However, it's completely shafted by the fact the author is trying to like force them into a romance. Oh yeah, forcing romance in a story where romance doesn't really need to be a thing. Always a good idea. Not. It's it's astounding that I'm still finding stories like this. Like they don't like the author clearly wanted to do a romance. However, it probably just rushes on the whole thing because they literally just meet. There's no build up. There's no like them feeling out each other or anything. It's just they just immediately fall in love with each other and they just want to go on they romance together. Okay. Uh, the characters. I mean, Anna honestly is fine. I don't have an issue with Anna. She's like a fangirl of the Avengers. She kind of just acts like a stereotypical teenage girl. I mean, she's fine. She's bland, but she's fine. I don't have a problem. The other characters, up until I like finished this, and up until like I gave up on the story, which was like around here, I think it's fine. Like Sergeant Salt and Sergeant Pepper, I think it's fine. Uh, it's the writing. It's quite literally the writing that I have a problem with. Just like Goth, this story has a very, very bad habit of telling rather than showing. It's actually worse here than in Goth, because at least Goth is trying, like, not really doing it that heavily. Like, don't it does do it, but doesn't do it that badly. This story just does. It's just horrendous in how it does it. I think there is. Let's see. And let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Let's see. I think there was like a chapter. Yeah, there. No, I'm in the wrong chapter. Okay, there is a this chapter, I believe, and actually find it. Yeah, right here. Here it is. I've read this part, and I cringed so hard. Now picture a bright like so. I got in context. Bucky like explained like his trauma, like having killed a bunch of innocent people, and like how they're haunting him all the time. To Wanda, Wanda offers, we try like let's try meditation, let's find your happy place, stuff like that. Now picture a, a bright light above you, and like the grows greater with each section. She keeps guiding him, but Bucky vividly seeing the light enveloping all around him. And now, in a field, a large green field, acres and acres of pastures around you. She describes in the scenery, with each detail being visualized in his mind. Now feel the breeze of the wind flowing in front of you, she whispers, as if it were an ASMR. Why? Why? Like, that is, like, doing this, it's just, what is cringe? Two, it breaks immersion because, like, why are you blatantly comparing her just whispering something to an ASMR in a context that makes no sense? And also, it is just like, it's just so weird seeing something like this be said. And this happens, it's not even just this. This is just the most blatant obvious. Everything is told to you. Every action, every mental decision, every everything is told to you. And there is a reason why show don't tell exists, because it enhances storytelling. If you tell quite literally everything about the story, you're just being you're not reading a story, you're reading you're reading like a children's story. Like, you're just reading something for children, because I gotta hand guide you through everything. It's not You're not giving the readers time to integrate themselves into the story, to believe and immerse themselves, because you're constantly keeping them from getting immersed in the story, and that's bad writing. That's why the phrase exists, because you need to immerse them. You can tell. You can do tell rather than showing in specific circumstances. Like, if you have to do an info dump, that is required. But they're meant to be very rare. By telling you everything, it just gives the illusion the author is not even like, what's the word? It resonates like the author is treating their readers like a child, and that's why I use the term Tumblr-esque writing, because a lot of people who write via Tumblr often do the same thing. They constantly describe and tell everyone, and also try to force in cringy romance stuff like this. It doesn't work, and it even like the only people who like it are other Tumblrites. Guys, cliques gotta stay together. That's not even like the only thing. Like grammar errors. I don't know why, but for some ungodly reason, the author just randomly censors everyone cursing. Like, if it was like, it's a T story. Why are you censoring them cursing? It makes no sense. It's just incredibly lazy. I don't care about the character. I don't care about characters. I at least tolerate Anna. I don't. The plot's just basic. The sentence structure tells you everything. The fact that the author just randomly censors their own work in a work that doesn't need to be censored. It's not like fan fiction's never actually banned cursing before. Okay, fine. The story reveals at the end of this chapter that Wanda and Bucky have sex. All right, that's fine. I can get behind like skipping the sex because one, it's T, and two, sex is not allowed in fan fiction. But we all know you can get away with it. And so I understand that. But getting rid of but censoring cursing is just it's just lazy. And I can't even. It's just it's just uncaring. Pacing. Wait, it's I gotta at least see like it's very rushed, but fine. It's meant to if it's meant to capture like the whole Octane MCU style thing, which I think is what the author is going for. Not 100% sure on that. Then it could be worse. It's not good. I wouldn't say it's far from good, but I don't have anything. I honestly have nothing more to say about this. So let's move on to the last story. Komechi Labyrinth. This is something. Finally, we have something. This is a Toho Project fanfiction by Unmoving Great Library, and I don't really care that much about this story. It is better. It's better than these two stories, though. So, what is the context of this story? In order, okay. So, this story is what is called a character dissection story, which is so fucking rare in fan fiction. It's just monstrously rare because these types of things are more you're more likely to see in like discussion like forums and discussion videos or even like video essays you find on YouTube. So seeing it on a fan fiction is really unique. And in order to get the context of this, we need to actually talk specifically about a certain character's backstory. And that is the character of Koichi Komeji. Arguably, probably the most tragic character in all of Toho. It's she's a character that kind of makes you realize Zona is really good at writing. I would say you have more in like characters like this, like with Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that. But Koichi, I think, is like the top. So, for context, Koichi and her sister Satori are a pair of yokai called Satori. Yeah, I know, a Satori named Satori. Makes sense in context. In the Toho universe, Satoris were religiously hunted and persecuted not just by humans but also other yokai. Why? Because Satoris have the innate ability to read minds. It's something they can't actually control. It's something that that just happens. And due to this like massive, what everyone believes like a massive breach of privacy, because like again, Satori in this universe can't really control the fact that he read mind. They just do it automatically. So they hunted Satori until Satori and Koichi are implied to be the last of their kind. It's with Toho, you don't know if something like a yokai is extinct or not until you see more of it. So we're just kind of guessing that these two are the last two alive rather than them actually being the last two alive because we haven't seen any other story left. Satori and Koichi are religiously persecuted. Koichi more because Koichi, unlike Satori, actually wanted to make friends. She basically wanted to like be friends with other people, but they kept bullying and persecuting her because of what she is, what she can't control, and this occurred over the course of many moons until eventually Koichi broke mentally. And what she did was she closed her third eye. Basically, let me actually get a better picture of Koichi. Here she is. Got a picture of her. Right here. This is her third eye. The third eye on a Satori is basically what allows them to read the mind. So Koichi forcibly closed it. However, instead of helping her, that actually made things worse because it basically meant, like, by closing her eye, that third eye, it basically mentally destroyed her and left her more or less an empty shell. Basically, by closing the third eye, she forcibly destroyed her own consciousness. She she essentially, not like, at this point in canon, she basically just wanders Gensokyo through, like, pure instinct. She can't, every single action is just her immediately following the moment it pops in her head. So it's like, if Koichi randomly thinks, I want to eat apple, her body's just gonna immediately instinctively go find an apple. And it could be anything. Oh, I want to murder someone. She'll just instinctively try to murder someone. Hypothetically. She doesn't murder anyone, but she gets like a whole thing in like one of the fighting games where she like pretends to be Miss Mary, which is a yokai that kills people. You know, that whole deal. Koichi simply can't make friends anymore, because the moment she stops paying attention to them, if she basically conducts like an involuntarily mind wipe of them. So like, you could be talking to Koichi and say hi to everyone, and the moment she wanders away, you immediately just, who was I talking to? Like, you don't you your mind just immediately blanks out. You don't even realize that she existed, and she's had to endure this for a long time. Satori is one of the only few people who actually acknowledge, like, who knows her existence, because due to their sisterly bond. So, and even then, it's like very very fuzzy. She can't truly keep track of her, and Satori is worried that one day even she'll forget about Koichi, and now Koichi will just simply not have anyone to come back to. It's it's a genuinely tragic character, and all for the act of being something that she couldn't control. Like, she couldn't control mind reading, but she broke her mind because she was so heartbroken over being bullied and persecuted. It is very sad. So how does that boil into the story? Well, it boils down to it because this story takes place from Satori's point of view. It's not a first person; it's third person. Satori is wrecked with guilt over what happened, because Satori feels she didn't do enough to keep Koichi from getting from losing hope, from closing her third eye. And so what happens is Dorime Sweet, who is a Baku, basically think of like a tapir, or if you play Pokemon, Dorama, I think her name is, the whole pink tapir thing with like the wisp coming out. That's basically a Baku. Dorime wanders into Satori, like, appears in Satori's room right when Satori's supposed to go to sleep. Said, "Hey, I need your help with something. There is this massive castle in the dream world where I rule. That's kind of going out of control. I need your help to deal with it. Why should it matter? Oh, because your sister made it. Now here's the catch. This dream Koichi is basically a separate person from the real world Koichi, because in the story it's explained that once Koichi cut off her consciousness, her real life self and her dream self separated. So her dream Koichi is basically its own individual person now, with like the third eye still open and can communicate with Satori. Dorme convinces Satori, is like, well, if you help me, you can actually talk to Koichi before she became a hollow shell, which spurs Satori into helping Dorme climb the castle, get into the castle, and help out and try and figure out what's going on with Koichi. Along the way, she finds out that the castle is actually being forcefully manipulated by Satori's dream self. Basically, in Toho, everyone's dream self is basically an extension of like some of their flaws hyper expanded. So the dream version of Satori is basically a hyper fixation on real life Satori's worry and anxiety over her and and lack of self esteem over letting Koichi get injured the way she is, and that's left Satori like racked with like like sadness. And stuff like that. So now she needs to try and it's eventually revealed, thanks to Dorame because she's been fooling everyone, that this whole adventure was a way to kind of, as a sort of therapy, to help Satori move on past what happened. Learn that it's not her fault. That she did the best she could to help to try and help Koichi, and but also realize that there's nothing that Koichi still would have closed her third eye and closed herself off from everyone. It's genuinely a sad story of of Satori coming to terms with what happened in like its own really fucked up way because the story does have a lot of really weird visual representation because it's a dream world, so like nothing makes sense. Like there's a running theme like Dorame kind of opening her little dream journal and like kind of like just reaching into it and just grabbing random stuff. It's like ah, and kind of keeping everything like hidden from Satori because Satori is whole character is actually kind of a she psychoanalyzes everything and she realizes that Dorame is like, okay, you're hiding something from me. So what could I be hiding? It's like, why don't you tell me? Like, maybe Satori girl, maybe not. Oh, look, dancing. It's it's a neat little plot. I don't like the ending though. Like, okay, so the ending ends with Satori finally coming to terms with what happened. We get like a little touching moment where like the two versions of Satori are like glaring at each other, and Dream Koichi kind of reaches her hand over, puts it over the real Satori's hand. It's like it's not your fault, and like Satori like who's been wrapped with guilt. Like everyone has told her it's not your fault, but then she realizes that it's coming from Koichi. It's coming from the one person she's been wanting to like get some sort of forgiveness from. And hearing Koichi, even if it's a dream Koichi that it's not connected to the real world Koichi in any way, hearing hearing it's not your fault because here's the thing, it genuinely wasn't Satori's fault because Satori kind of dealt with the trauma in her own way by willingly closing herself off and going underground and kind of hanging out with animals her own way. And the story does paint the fact that she did try to help Koichi out, but realize but not realizing that she'd done all she could. Like as like it's guilt over the fact that I could have done more. I should have done more. I could have kept her inside, even against her will. And then seeing her dream self essentially doing just that, and seeing Koichi completely depressed over the fact that she can't. She's trapped in her own mind. It's just a different set of walls and a different set of rules. And hearing Koichi just simply tell Satori, it's not your fault. It broke through Satori and realized it is it is not my fault. I tried all I could. Even if it wasn't even if it wasn't enough, I still tried. It didn't succeed because Koichi still kind of mentally broke. But it is not my fault. I tried my best. My best wasn't good enough, but I tried. And it's honestly, it's such a sweet thing. And then the Dream Satori tries to fight back, like tries to attack the real Satori, and Dorame just one shots her. It's like, yep, I don't know what to do. It's like, could you have done that at any time? Like, yes, I could have, but I didn't. Smug tapier. And the story, you think, oh, the story kind of ends with them going back and Satori going to sleep. But no, the story randomly ends instead of Satori going back to sleep a few days later and running into the dream Koichi again, who wants to meet some friends. I think that's like a really weird way of ending the story, especially since wouldn't it make more sense for Satori to run into the real Koichi? Like, I think that would have been a better such a close. Like, yeah, you could make the argument like canon Koichi is kind of really difficult to write because of how canon Koichi mentally works because that's like the whole empty shell sort of thing. But it really would have made more sense narrative wise. All I'll say. So I think the plot is good. It's very hard to follow because it's running on like dream logic, and dream logic doesn't make sense half the time. But once you figure out like the ins and outs of how everything is functioning, it's like, yeah, I can see that it's actually a really decent plot. It's not as good as it is arguably a better plot than the last Great Library story I did, which was the one where Rimu becomes a yokai. But it has the backlash of the characters not really being as good. I get I get why Dorame has to be cryptic because this is meant to be a therapy session, and Dorame can't has to keep her cards close to the chest. Dorame is basically the one in charge of the whole dream world. So Satori quickly cottons on to the fact that Dorame could get in, like easily can get involved. She's just choosing not to. But doesn't know why. And so Dorame being like this incredibly cryptic person, I think it's fine. I think Dream Koichi and Dream Satori are fine as well. They get the job done by helping Satori's character out and like because they're all meant to help her overcome her like her self esteem and and like help her move past what happened. The issue is real with Satori. Real and this is something that's more connected to the canon of Toho. Satori is a very boring character. Like I shit you not. But this is Satori. This is Koichi. Satori is a very dull and uninteresting character, in my opinion. I don't particularly care about Satori's character because her whole thing is that she's a very blunt person because of her mind reading. So like nothing, you can't really hide anything from her. So when she'd rather just be blunt and kind of just tell you point blank the whole like anything. It's kind of it's that way you don't have to like play games around her or anything. She also very much psychoanalyzes everything. That's kind of a recurring thing in the story where she constantly takes the time to psychoanalyze every aspect of the story. And Dormy actually calls her out. It's like it's just you don't have to psychoanalyze everything. It's dream logic. Dream logic doesn't make sense half the time. But Satori herself is just a dreadfully dull character. It's just a dreadfully dull character. Like I would understand if she had like any sort of character development or anything like that in the story, she has a character arc. Like she wants to meet the sister that used to be again, the Koichi that she isn't that she used to be. That's a respectable character arc. Problem is Satori doesn't grow that much as a character. She grows only at like the very end. That's like the only time where she has any sort of character development. And until that moment, she's a very dull, uninteresting character. That's because Satori in canon is a very dull and uninteresting character. To the point where hold on, I need to actually show you this. They made a manga where she is supposed to be the main character, and this is canon. This manga is canon. You can look. You can actually read the whole thing up online. Val Detective Satori. She spends 80% of the story completely sidelined in favor of Rimu. The manga where she is supposed to be the main character, and the manga that is directly named after her, is shafted for most of it in favor of the main protagonist of the franchise. What? It's such a weird decision. I can't even blame the author for this issue because this is very much a actual canon issue. This is like nothing's really done with Satori. Despite the fact Koichi has appeared in a lot of official Toho products. Like she's appeared in multiple games. She appeared in like multiple spin-offs. She was the Silver Boss. I can't remember. She's had more things to do. So that makes Koichi a more developed character. Despite the fact that Koishi's whole thing is that she's supposed to be one dimensional, yet she's more three dimensional than her sister. How do you even fuck that up? I don't I don't know. It's such a weird decision by Zun, and Zun's the one who approves these. He's the one who approves these. I don't get I don't get how Koichi, the character whose entire purpose is that she entirely runs on her subconscious whims, is a more fleshed out and developed character than her sister, because her sister just spends all her time just in a gigantic mansion underground with a cat and a raven. How even those two are more developed than her because they've actually had time to develop. Mostly Oku because people like burps. So I don't like Satori in this one. I don't, but I can't blame the author for having to write Satori like this because kind of it's like if the author's trying to write them as canonically as possible. It's just Satori, canon Satori is just not a good character. She's just not. Grammar errors. I didn't see any grammar errors. Pacing. I think the pacing and the sentence structure is fine. It's a very trippy story, so it uses a lot of weird subtextual wordplay because the entire story is running on dream logic, so nothing makes sense. So it features like a lot of weird and wacky wordplay to kind of fit that vibe. But whenever it like, but it, I also like the detail that whenever Satori's trying to hyper focus and psychoanalyze something, the writing actually becomes like very very simple and clear. It's a great way to portray that Satori is kind of trying to rationalize something that she physically cannot. Because again, dream logic. But yeah, I think I think the writing's fine. I think Satori is kind of like a cautionary tale over why people shouldn't glaze Zun that much. I think the plot's good. So yeah, that's really it. So out of these three stories, would I recommend this? No, absolutely not. Kind of. Here's the thing with Komeiji Labyrinth. This story completely relies on caring about the Komeiji twins. If you don't care about these two characters, then you're not really going to care about the story because everything about the story relies on caring about these two specific characters, or at least caring specifically about Koichi. And not everyone likes Koichi because the more technical people, she's essentially a flat character. She's a flat character on purpose, but she's still a flat character. So like my friend from Germany would like completely just say, I don't like this character. Why? Because there's no depth to her. Well, that's the point. I can't use EFAP logic on her. And Koichi will probably just be right next to him. He's like completely going Popcat. Come on. Because that's what Koichi does. But I would, for this story, lean towards recommending it. It's definitely a downgrade from the Remu becomes a yokai thing the author did, but I still think it's good. And like my main issue that's not Satori is the ending, which favorite part, don't have a favorite part, don't have a favorite part. I don't really have a favorite part. I guess you could say the Koichi telling her to let it go. I do think it is a very emotionally good moment, but that's not really. I don't think that's good enough. What would I do to change these stories? I honestly, fuck all with this. I don't know, and I don't care to know. Bucky and Wanda. I mean, make the story longer. If you can, get rid of the romance because the story just really doesn't need romance. And honestly, just chiefly fix up the writing. With this story, change. I would honestly change the ending instead of Satori going back into the dream world a few days later to kind of meet Koichi again and Koichi can turn a friend. Why not? The ending having Satori kind of going to Koishi's bedroom in Chichirin. She sees the real world Koichi and she like looks at her and Koishi's like acting like kind of Koichi is like, "Hi, sister." And Koichi just kind and Satori kind of walking up and just giving her a hug. I think honestly, just the mental image, the image of the Satori kind of cry, like hugging Koichi and just kind of crying into her. It's like it was like trying to be there. Hell, you can even go like a whole thing like let's go do something together. Like yeah, Koichi would probably just immediately wander off, but just the idea of Satori saying deciding we're gonna do something together. Let's just do something and be there for her sister that will probably wander off and disappear for who knows how long. I think that would just be a better. I just think that would be a better ending because it would be a better sense of finality to Satori's character than this. That's just me. That's really all I have to say about these stories. I will see you next time. This has been Dark Symphony 777 and cut.